Hello, and welcome to Beering in Mind Beer Reviews. Today we are beginning a series of 12 reviews for beers from Market Company, and I'm going to introduce Market briefly, and then we will get on to the beers. There are 12 beers that we're going to look at in order, and in general I'm trying to set them up in order of strength, alcoholic strength, no other reason than just to set up some kind of order for them. Market is a brewery in Nagoya, Japan, which is generally regarded as the third largest city in Japan after Tokyo and Osaka. And Nagoya did not have much of a beer scene for quite a while, and they have kind of caught up now. But certainly Market is the premier brewer in that part of Japan. They opened in 2014, and there was a lot of buzz surrounding the development and opening of this brewery. The brewer, whose name is Kachi Makoto, he had worked for Kisoji Brewery in Nagano, and later they added Nakanishi-san, who had been at Ise Kadoya in Ise, Mie Prefecture. So two well-experienced brewers. Kachi studied in Canada and got involved with brewing there, and Nakanishi, I'm not sure where he worked before that, but they're both very well-experienced brewers. The name Market is, their original brew house was in the Yanagibashi Market in Nagoya, so they decided to call it Market Brewing after that. They opened in 2014, and in 2014 they were chosen as the best new brewer in Japan by RateBeer.com. So they came out of the gate, just with all cylinders firing, and produced a lot of interesting beers. People were talking about them. It seemed like they kind of rested on their laurels for a while, and I think maybe they're coming back with stronger stuff. They started with a 1,000 liter system, and then in 2018 built a new brewery with a 30 kiloliter system, so quite a bit bigger. And they started canning 1 year ago from today, which is we're now in March, and they began canning, and the 12 can set, which we're going to look at, is actually an anniversary set of the 1 year canning date when they first started canning. So and today we're going to take a quick look at a session IPA, and this one is, and now let's look at the first beer from Market, and this one is called Market Wheat Wing, and this is they call it an American wheat session IPA, and on RateBeer would be categorized, I think, as a session IPA. This is very light, 4% session beer, and 48.23 international bittering units. Market really specifies in detail. Most people don't use decimal points for their IBUs. Market does. And they've been making this beer since 2014, so about 5-6 years. On RateBeer it has 9 ratings, an average score of 3.69, but no percentile scores for beer or for its style. We need at least 10 ratings for that on RateBeer. Okay, so it is a session IPA, but made with wheat, so it should be a little bit different. The hops are Simcoe hops. Okay, so it's a bright, hazy, I don't know what to call this, pastel yellow, very thin, definitely looks more wheaty than IPA-ish. Okay, so right off we get some light citrus, some breadiness, pretty hefty head, certainly from the wheat. I don't know if you can see any carbonation floating up there. Piney, fruity, some citrus. Kind of dry in the finish, and some bitter tracks for sure. This is maybe hopped up a little bit more than a lot of session IPAs would be. Certainly a lot more than what a lot of wheat beers would be at almost 50 IBUs. Body is kind of thin, medium, very light, very refreshing. Generally, session IPAs leave you with the feeling that something's missing, that you're somehow being punished for being a responsible drinker and lower healthy drinker, that sort of thing, lower alcohol level. But this is not. Yeah, so this is pretty decent. I would give this a go if you happen to see it anywhere. Again, it's Wheat Wing from MarketBrewing, a 4% American wheat session IPA. That's it for today, and next one we'll look at another session IPA from Market. Bye-bye.